Okay, so now we're going to come back and pick up a couple of those extra bits that were in here. The first one being preferences dialog. There's a couple of things in here to be aware of. Copy device name, which is turned on by default, means that when you drag and drop a configured device from this table to the online devices table, it will copy the name. There are certainly times where you don't want to do that. If you configure DMX gateway up here with all of the ins and outs that you want, you just want to cookie cutter that onto this, but not change everybody's name because you like Arthur and Trillian, then that's the way to do it. By default, though, normally what you're configuring up here is what you want to appear down here. Copy device IP addresses is turned off by default, meaning that if you're going to do that cookie cutter thing, it's not going to change the IP address stuff down here. So if you are using it to set all your DMX ports, it's not going to change all of them to have the same IP address. That would be bad. And then next we have auto connect devices. This means that when GCE discovers the device, which is different from connecting to it, when it discovers the device, it will also connect to it. So instead of just saying that, okay, down here we have a bunch of devices that have been discovered, it'll connect and actually get you the information that the gateway has. Otherwise, if you don't have that checked, and we go out here, we get a connect button. So now if we say refresh, it's going to rediscover everybody. It's found them all, it's put it in here, but it hasn't really connected to any of them. And we can click connect, and now it did go back and actually connect them. That's what that preference does. Normally in a smaller system, you would normally have auto connect on. That's why it's turned on by default. In a larger system, there can be an advantage to not doing that. You just want to go and connect to an individual device. If I had selected one and clicked connect, it would have only gotten the information for an individual device. The next preference, show file merge duplicate detection dialog. We'll be doing that in one of the how-tos of saving, loading, and merging files. But basically it gives you three choices to either keep the one that's already here, keep the one you're merging, or keep both and make the one you're merging a copy, as it were. The GCE log settings, this just controls what goes into the menu down over here. It says show log file. This determines what goes into that. Just leave the defaults. It would be, maybe if you call into phone support or something, they might tell you to turn something else on to help troubleshoot, but in general, just leave it alone. And when updating devices, do not show this dialog again. Okay, this one's a little bit of a mystery on the service, but I can show you how it works. If we take Arthur here and drag him up to the top, and now we drag him back down here to apply it again, ooh, this dialog pops up showing you copy device name and the other bits and saying, hey, if you're going to actually change IP addresses, you're going to have to reboot. When updating devices, do not show this dialog again. That's the same text because that's the same preference. So now if we click that, say OK, and we take Arthur and we drag him back down here again, hey, look, it updated and it didn't bring up the dialog. And when we go back into preferences, it is in fact checked now. So there you go. There's the preferences for GCE. And on to the next topic.